It's almost my favorite part of the cold brew when you get down to the bottom and all the sugar that hasn't dissolved in the cold brew is stuck on the bottom. Oh, it's so sugary. But what if you want your sugar to dissolve in your cold brew? How do you do that? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to show you how. What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from Cigar Prop, and if everybody knows me, over the course of 2019, I've really been getting into cold brews. The one thing that always bothered me really was the sugar part. I like to add some sugar, and unless you have a jug and you can really shake it up and get that sugar dissolved, there's no way to get it. And even then, you know, it still settles to the bottom. There's no way to get that sugar dissolved. And then I was at work the other day, and I'm just thinking, well, and then it hit me, why don't you just make a liquid sugar like you used to do back in the bar business? And I'm like, oh yeah, we used to make simple sugars all the time, or simple syrups all the time for some of our drinks. If I just watered it down a little bit, it would go perfectly in a cold brew. So I don't even know why that never occurred to me until now. So I'm gonna show you how to make a quick, simple sugar or a simple syrup that you can add to any cold beverage and it dissolves right away. So it's really easy. You kind of want a scale for this one, especially because I use brown sugar. If you don't use brown sugar, you don't need a scale. But we're gonna go ahead, turn our scale on, put our bowl on. We're gonna go ahead and tear it out so it's 0. We're gonna do, quick simple, we're gonna do 8 ounces, which is about a cup. Ooh, am I gonna have enough? I am. So that's 8 ounces of granulated white sugar. We're gonna do 8 ounces of brown sugar. And you do the brown sugar by weight because it's easier, because if you're packing, I mean, here's your cup. Do you pack it? Do you pack it really tight and it just ends up being a pain? So just do it by weight. And then we're going to do 8 ounces of water. And that's it. All you do, you put this on the stove, stir it up, bring it to a rolling boil. The instant, I'm talking the instant it comes to a rolling boil, you bring it off the stove and you just let it sit till it's room temperature. Not kidding, room temperature. If you can stick your finger in there and not burn it, that's room temperature, and you can pull it off the heat or pull it off the stove. And then you just jar it. I just use ball mason jars. I like the plastic, the lids. You want to make sure you're boiling your mason jars to get them perfectly sterilized, only because this is all sugar. Sugar will mold. So you just don't want anything in there that'll cause that mold process to kickstart. Even if you don't do this, it's probably still good for at least a month in your refrigerator. Now here's one I did for Jessica. Now you're probably thinking, how thick is it? So this is the one I did for Jessica this morning. As you can see, it's pretty thin. Now the only reason this one is just an absolute touch thicker is because for Jessica, I added 2 tablespoons of honey to hers to get that little bit of honey flavor. And this is actually Florida Sun-Grown. Any of you cigar smokers out there, Florida Sun-Grown, Jeff Borshowitz also has bees, makes his own honey. It's definitely got a unique flavor, and she loves it. So, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Like I said, once you pull it off the heat, you throw it in the mason jar, put it in the fridge. Now in the restaurant business, we used to use like squeeze bottles, because we would go through this stuff every day. So, you know, and you could squeeze it out. If you had a squeeze, like an old-timey ketchup bottle with like the little lid on it, you could use one of those, squirt it in there, and you'd be good. I'm just a mason jar type of guy, be able to scoop it out. So that's just me, but like I said, easily a month in the fridge. If you only make a mason jar size of that, that's probably a month's supply for us, maybe a little bit less. And that's it, just a quick, simple syrup that you can add to any cold beverage that will dissolve so you can get that sweetness. So you don't have to, like I said, shake real hard and that granulated sugar still sinks to the bottom. And then with this, you can put just anything in there. You can throw a couple of strawberries in there. You can throw a couple apricots. You can throw whatever you want. Strain those out, and you can kind of get different flavors. You can definitely mix around. Splash of vanilla extract or vanilla syrup, and you'll have a vanilla simple sugar. So there's lots of different things that you can do and you can put into your syrups to give them flavors. But I find the honey one is probably the only really additive I add, because I don't want to detract from the cold brews that I'm drinking. So it's rare that I'll even add like the honey one. I just make a simple syrup just for me. And so this will be my second batch for me. And like I said, because I still have a little bit of one in the kitchen, but I kind of wanted to show you how this is done. So now I've got a second one. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully that'll help some of you fellow cold brew drinkers out there, you iced tea drinkers out there. Quick and easy to make, cheap, and it'll definitely sweeten up your cold brew. So take from this review what you will. That's what I always say, even though it's not a cigar review or a review in general. What was the cooking with cigar prop? What was our make sure you give your taste buds the sweetness they deserve? I forget what our tagline is. It's been a while since we've done a cooking with cigar prop intro. So we'll catch you on the flip side.